do you know that we are into a weekend, by the way? Because these are some of the things that you need to know about the weekend, and look at the situations of getting ourselves into an extra business or an extra hustle. Omanyi weekend webeze abantu abamu abakola mu business ebiseera ebisinga mu kibuga wano abamu bakoma okukola ku Saturday. Aba government offices ezimu bakoma okukola ndowooza ku Lwomukaaga ku Lwokutaano. Yes, ku Lwokutaano. And ate we babanga bakoma ku Lwokutaano kino kikulaga nti ebiseera ebisinga osobola oba oyina eddembe oba oyina ennaku endala bbiri zibaako kyokola. Sunday oyinza ogikozesanga ey'okuwummulamu, and ku weekend then you can actually engage in more activities during the weekend. So away from the news hour, we're actually having some of the story. We're actually having some of the stories that we were highlighting, and this is where we are going to talk about more about the key highlights. And the key highlights of the day is looking at which angle can we visualize if we are to see ourselves looking at a situation like which topic are we going to base on. And this particular moment, we have in our remaining minutes of the show, we're going to talk about what the government needs to do to ensure that the enhancement of revenue collection among the youth is championed, and you can definitely see what it means for that. And meanwhile, let's get right into it. We've been mentioning of the fact that the youth form the majority of the population currently. The population that we have is mainly characterized or mainly filled up with the youth. And if I'm not mistaken, the theme of the presidential term 2021 to 2026 was met to look at securing our future. So I personally guess that securing our future looks at various things. And one of the things is saying that the youth actually engage in these decisions. And of which the decisions the youth are supposed to have include taxation, matters of the state, everything to do with decision making for the benefit of the future. Because once government is actually pulling out some of these policies, they will definitely refer to the opportunity that they want to set up facilities that are going to help out with the future, and of which the future is us, and most probably you, the viewer, who is out there. To foster economic growth and development, governments need sustainable sources of funding for social programs and public investments, and of which, if we are to mention the public investments, we are talking none other than taxes. Taxes are greatly needed to foster this. Taxation not only pays for public goods and services, but it's also key ingredient in a social contract between citizens and the economy. And today we're looking at what should the government do to enhance youth participation in domestic revenue. First and foremost, I think awareness is key. We have a very big challenge with how the government has to keep the awareness, or making sure that the youth are aware of the available taxes. Look at the situation and see that you and I are paying a huge amount on taxes, or are paying quite a number of taxes. But a few of us do understand the taxes that we pay, because most of them are indirect. It is after we've got to realize that there are some direct taxes where we're now feeling the stench, or we are feeling the impact. That with these, these taxes, when the taxes have become direct, it is when we start feeling. Look at, let's say, a tax of the internet tax. This time around, when OTT was introduced, that was a direct tax. Back then, people, you can actually pay VAT, value-added tax, and other related indirect taxes when you buy products, and you never know how much you're paying to the government and how much money is going to the government. But at the end of the day, When the government introduced OTT, I think that is when most of the Ugandans realized that direct taxes hit differently, or they hit a different nerve. Imagine with OTT you would pay 200, then you could know that every time I load data, every day that I load data, I have to pay 200 to the government. And that 200 shillings is too much, by the way. So the same applies to what is happening here. So once we get to understand, or we are aware of the taxes that are available in the country, believe me, the youth are going to engage themselves in the various activities. And that is where the government needs to play a very big part in awareness. Publicizing the fact that we have the young people, a generation which is filled with young blood, or young people, is a generation that needs us to engage them in each activity that is happening. Tuwe tuba tukedde ku makya ne tugamba nti guno omusolo guzze, oba tulese poliisi eno neeno, oba waliwo kino na kino, buli muntu kimukwatako. Ate abavubuka, olw'ensonga nti abavubuka tutunulidde mu nsonga nti the youth are making the highest, actually having the highest percentage of the informal sector. The informal sector employs around 70% of the youth. Kubanga emirimu egiriwo mu eyo informal sector, abavubuka be balina amaanyi agagikola, and it contributes to 45% of the gross domestic product. Kino kikulaga nti informal sector is very vital in our economy. Katutunulire ensonga ezo ogambe nti yes, from this angle to the other angle, what do we need to do as a country? Or what do we need to understand that, okay, sebo okoze kino na kino, ate oli akoze kiri agenda yitawo atya. Naye era government erina omanya nti abavubuka bazanya paati nnene, abavubuka bagenda zanya paati nnene mu development y'eggwanga. Eggwanga lyaffe lirina olugendo olunene nnyo nnyini ddala. Ate era omuntu wajja n'agamba nti eggwanga lirina olugendo lunene nnyini ddala in terms of development, in terms of everything to do with involving them. Kiba kitegeeza buli policy ejja tulina obbaleetera. There is a very bad tendency of the policy makers that whenever they are making adjustments to anything, or they are implementing a law, or they are trying to look at to bring on board a law or a policy, they tend to discuss it amongst themselves. Look at an incident whereby omuntu agenda yiiza abavubuka abagenda obbawa mu myaka 3, naye nga abagenda oyiiya bali wakati w'emyaka 6 ku 9. Kati abantu realistically tebajja beerawo in the next 50 years. If you look at, imagine if someone who is actually setting out the policies is actually setting out, he's around 60. Wotulira myaka 5 agalijja, only a few will make it. Naye ate abavubuka bali myaka 15, 20, the high chances of them meeting the next 50 years. So that means they need to take part in everything. In that wotuli tuuka future eyo gye tuli mu kusecuringa tekitutuulamu. Kubanga ekyo kisobola okutuulamu ate n'otandika okkankanawo ne weebuuza nti kati nze Joram Wabwe, how have I survived? These policies were really made. Now look at the situation here. Youth leaders have actually urged government to continuously take action in engaging the youth in these activities, because this is going to enhance mobilization of tax collection. If you were to look at the situation according to the 2014 National Housing and Population Census, let me sum this up. The youth form a large population of Uganda, with 23% in the age bracket of 18 to 30, while 55% are below the age of 18. However, 60% of the youth in the age bracket of 20 to 24 are unemployed. While still, the youth have also not been able to engage in the tax processes, which could provide an avenue for solutions to some of the challenges they face. Being part of the population, participation of the youth is an integral part in the physical governance, and therefore it is paramount that strategic interventions are instituted to promote more meaningful youth participation in decision making as far as the matters of the state are concerned. So it is quite vital, and important that the youth should be prioritized in making sure that this happens. So we have to understand the impact of the youth on the economy, the impact of what the youth have on our economy. And if we engage them in the various activities, waliwo ebintu bingi nnyo betugenda otereeza mu ggwanga. Kati nga tumaliriza, as we're summing up, we've had a full week, a week characterized with the National Science Week, a week that had a number of business stories, a week that had breakers and all of that. So as we are heading out of the week, there is something that you need to have in mind, that life hits us differently. And whenever life is hitting us, we get to learn lessons, and these lessons always form challenges. But for some, there's a way they actually get out of the lessons, all these challenges that they face. And then there are some people who actually find a very big challenge in coming out. In fact, buli muntu aba n'obuzibu bwe, nti oyinza okwekanga ng'obuzibu bwo omulala abulaba nga advantage, ate advantage omulala ng'abulaba ng'obuzibu. So whenever you find someone having a challenge ng'ate gwe olaba kyangu nnyo gy'oli, never laugh at them or not even pity them. Try to help them out. A helping hand is far better than a hand that is going to criticize all the time. It is better to help out than to criticize an individual, because once you're helping an individual, you're giving them a chance or a second chance to live. So as we are heading into the weekend, just a simple tip that I'm leaving with you is challenge yourself to be a helper. To be the Jesus or be the savior of someone else, because the person you serve today or the person you help out today may be the same person who will help you out in the future. I'm John Paul Sonko. Follow us on social media at Smart24TV on Facebook, Twitter as well. The official website is www.smart24tv.com. On YouTube, we are streaming live, Smart24TV. Space Live, and you remember to hit the subscription button to get more of the services. If you want to advertise with us, get us on Plot 29A Commercial Road, Naguru, and bring your businesses. Let us drive them together. We are business. We are driving the business. The best time in television as well. I'm Jerome Paulson on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you, and indeed, thank you very much. Ciao, adios.